Um, Good evening, everybody. I wish I could say I'm happy to be back, but I don't think anybody wants the summer to end. So we are happy to do the good work, but we're not so happy to be back and that the summer is ending. But we are super, super excited about a new school year that's going to be incredibly successful. And we're excited to start doing all the work that we need to do to get ready and get our kids in here and get everything started. We will be taking executive session, but we're going to do the second one later on in the evening. And there are a couple of, I'm told, short presentations, but we're going to get on our way. So I don't know why it's not logging. Mine isn't coming up. Let's see if it's, okay, now it is. Pursuant to the Open Publics Meeting Act, public notice of this meeting has been given by the board secretary in the following manner: posting written notice on the official bulletin board at the Voorhees Township Public Schools Administrative Building on June 18th, 2026, filing written notice with the clerk of Voorhees Township on June 18th, 2026, and posting on the Voorhees Township Board of Education website on June 18th, 2026. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Board Secretary, will you call the roll?
Mr. Bryce?
Here.
Mrs. Munyon? Here. Mr. Rosen? Mr. Rosner?
Here.
Mrs. Rudder?
Here.
Mrs. Smythe?
Here.
Mrs. Stewart?
Here.
Ms. Cadover?
Here.
Mrs. Watson?
Here. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes of the June 8th, 2026 regular board meeting, which had both regular and executive session?
So moved, Rosner.
Second, Cadover.
Online voting is open. The motion unanimously passes.
Can I get a motion to approve the minutes of the August 3rd, 2026 special board meeting, which had both regular and executive session?
So moved.
Second, Rudder.
Online voting is open. The motion unanimously passes.
I'll be very brief. I did not prepare anything. I want to first extend a thank you to my amazing board. I know we say this often, that these are all volunteers, but I am really, really privileged to work with a group of people who truly put children and their educations at the center of everything that they do. Everybody works so hard, spends a lot of time, but actually deeply cares about what we are doing. And I cannot ask for a better group of individuals. So thank you, thank you, thank you for all of the time and energy that all of you spend. And I'm very lucky to work alongside each one of you. I have to say the same thing of our teachers. And I can't say it enough. My sister works in Cherry Hill, so I'm not going to say that we have only the best teachers, but we definitely have the most best teachers. We have such amazing administrators who also care incredibly deeply about all of our students. Every time I see the amount of time and years, from the retirees to the wonderful awards to the student presentations, it is absolutely exceptional. You all are phenomenal. Thank you for having strong leadership. Thank you for always coming and supporting the board. Thank you so much for all that you do. We are incredibly, incredibly grateful to have the type of staff and administrators that we do in this district. With that, let's have an amazing 2026-2027. Fire drills and safety drills are on the attached. Harassment and intimidation and bullying report also on the attached. We have a couple of Oprah requests. Actually, they're all closed out. So all three are done, and I am going to turn it over for summer projects.
Okay, thank you. As usual, our Buildings and Grounds Department is very busy in the summer. And this year, we can thank our new director and new supervisor, Mr. Higgs and Mr. Hazlitt, for overseeing the projects, and the amazing staff that we have, the building foremen, all the custodians, maintenance workers. They work very hard in a short amount of time to get a lot done. The board members each have a report called Summer Projects, which we will post on our website, but I'll just talk about a few of the things that were done this summer. In this building, we had some new compressors put in, cooling tower fan replaced, the normal things like trees pruned, shaped, thinned. Inspections are done throughout the district. We have fire alarms, fire sprinklers, boiler, generator, kitchen suppression systems in the schools, well water sampling, indoor air quality. And the indoor air quality all came out good. So we're happy about that too. But we do that every year just to make sure. At the schools, some of the things that are done is the classrooms are emptied, floors stripped, waxed, carpets extracted. There's some painting touch up. There is HVAC preventive maintenance, some new installations of HVAC units. Again, inspections everywhere. We're putting in a new playground over at Osage. I think that just started this week, right? Started today? Yes. And that'll be done in what, 3 days, something like that? That's pretty amazing. So there's the highlights are in here. I won't go over everything, but there's a lot of the same things done in each school building. Also the area carpets that we have in a lot of the lower grades, they get cleaned as well. So it'll be on our website tomorrow. So if anybody wants to take a look at it, it'll be there. And thank you again, Mr. Hazlitt. If you can thank your staff, that would be great. Thank you.
Thank you. Superintendent's report.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, everyone. I hope you've all had an enjoyable summer, and I'm delighted to extend a warm welcome to the 2026-2027 school year. I can't believe it. This year, our district theme is We Make the Difference. And this theme reflects a simple but powerful belief. Every person who's part of our school community has the ability to make a difference in the lives of our students. I just want to say that one more time. Every person who's part of our school community has the ability to make the difference in the lives of our students. That collective responsibility requires transparency, collaboration, and ongoing communication. Strong school districts are built when stakeholders are informed, when different perspectives are valued, and when we work together toward common goals. Throughout this school year, we will continue to seek opportunities to communicate openly, listen to all stakeholders, share our progress, and strengthen the partnership that makes Voorhees Township Public Schools a great special community. So as we begin the school year, I'm proud to highlight just a few initiatives that will take place this year. First, we are expanding our special services programming to include an emotional regulation impairment class, ERI class, for students in kindergarten and grade 1, and it'll be housed at E.T. Hamilton with our wonderful principal, Ms. Tadley. This program will provide additional support for our youngest learners in developing emotional regulation, coping, social, and behavioral skills. So we're very excited. So kudos to Dr. Allegria and Ms. Ross for bringing this program to the district. We also will implement a uniform grading profile for students in grades 2 through 5 this year. And the purpose of this uniform grading profile is it establishes expectations for grading categories, percentage weights, and the minimum number of assignments in each area. This work supports our shared commitment to rigorous, equitable, and student-centered instruction. And we have reduced the number of benchmark assessments that we give in our elementary schools. We reviewed our existing assessments to make sure we eliminate repetitive questions measuring the same standard. And we've implemented consistent assessment protocols across the district. So our goal is to ensure that each assessment is purposeful, provides meaningful information about student learning, and gives teachers the data they need to make well-informed decisions. I'm also pleased to share some exciting news regarding our preschool program. A proposal that Jack Marsalis, Superintendent of Gibbsboro School District, and I submitted for the 2026 NJSBA Workshop Conference has been accepted. We will present a workshop titled Stronger Together, New Jersey Shared Preschool Partnership, One Building, Two Districts, Endless Possibilities. The conference will be held on October 19th through 22nd. We don't have an exact day and time. Ms. Haley will also join us for this presentation. And we're just very proud to have the opportunity to share to share our story of innovative partnership and the collaborative work between Voorhees and Gibbsboro with other leaders across New Jersey. So finally, as we embark on the 26-27 school year, I want to recognize the tremendous amount of work that took place throughout the summer to prepare our schools. Our buildings and grounds and maintenance teams, business office, food service program, administrators, teachers, support staff, and so many others have worked diligently behind the scenes to make sure that we're ready for our students on September 2nd. I am deeply grateful to our parents, our Board of Education members, and community partners for everything that they do to make sure that our district is successful. So as we move through this school year, we make the difference will be more than just a theme. It will be a reminder of our shared responsibility and the impact of our collective efforts. I look forward to an outstanding 26-27 school year. So at this time, we have 3 presentations, and we'll bring them up in this order. We'll first begin with Susan Donnelly, who's our Supervisor of Special Projects, and she just has a few words to say about our annual report. After Ms. Donnelly, we'll be joined by Dr. Alegria, Director of Special Services, and Donna Ross, Supervisor of Special Services, to present the 26-27 Annual Special Education Plan. And then following that, we'll have Jamie Malinali Bragg, our Director, and she has a couple of titles, Director of Early Childhood, ELA K-5, and ESL. And she will present our Access Alternative to ELS report. Okay, in that order. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening. I'm going to change mine from a presentation to an announcement because it's not very lengthy. The report itself is very lengthy. So the annual report is basically a year in review. Every department and the administrative team puts together a summary of the previous school year, and we work on it over the summer and just put together a report of the things that had taken place throughout the school year through every department. So this is just the cover page. It's not posted on the website yet. We wanted to share it with you first. It is lengthy, so we don't print it out, but it will be digital as of tomorrow afternoon on the website itself. If you could flip to the table of contents page, just to kind of highlight what's actually in here. So Dr. Hackett has a message, then we get into the business office, curriculum and instruction. Usually we'll have test scores, but we don't have them yet from the state, so that's not part of it. The special services report, Mr. Taylor does the educational technology. We have preschool, English as a second language. There's a English language arts literacy, and then each school submits a report as well, so you can find specific data and information from the previous school year from each school. Our CER department presents, and then we go through some communications and public information, and then it just lists our retirees and those recipients of the 25-year service award from last school year. So it will be available tomorrow. Thank you.
Okay, so good evening, Board President Watson, Vice President Kedover, the rest of the members of the board, and our community. I'm going to talk a little bit about special services. I'll get us started, and then we will have Ms. Ross come up to talk a little bit more. But tonight, we are excited to share our annual update for the Department of Special Services. We're going to use this as an opportunity to show you where we've been, where we are now, and where we're looking to go as a department. As you'll see from the presentation, it does show a lot of areas of growth, so we're really excited about that. As Dr. Hackett said, we are expanding our programming options, we're strengthening our supports within the department, we're looking to continue on our compliance, and also looking to figure out how we can best meet the changing needs of our students across the district. So today we are servicing approximately 450 special education students, and an additional 160 speech-only students. So our department is servicing a lot of students. So we're going to, throughout this presentation, want to just make sure we're highlighting that our work as a department is never done, and we are continuously looking for ways that we can continue to make improvements for our students and our staff across the district. So looking at 25-26 in a review, some things that we've done, we've expanded our executive functioning and our adaptive specials at VMS. These are classes for our special education students. Executive functioning, every single sixth grader went through this executive functioning classroom who has an IEP. We received a lot of positive feedback from our families telling us, thank you for this, because it really did help with that adjustment moving from elementary to middle school and really just trying to make sure our students were set up to be as successful as possible. And then our adaptive specials, which is our self-contained classrooms, and really making sure that they were able to access the specials. Last year, we started a new autism class at Signal Hill. We've also hired an additional BCBA, an additional speech language pathologist through the district. We have also been doing some additional targeted trainings for our IAs and our autism program, so we are excited about that. Also, our district-wide compliance, and again, how many students that we service. So as we look into this upcoming year, we're looking to continue to expand on some things. So here's our focus for the year, and we're going to talk about them a little bit more in detail. But what I need, when, we have two wins. We have one, what I need, which is what Ms. Ross is going to talk about. And then we also have the other win, which is a mental health, wellness interagency mental health grant that we've received. So we're continuing to expand on that. We actually have an additional day this year. Last year, we only had 2 days of a licensed mental health clinician. This year, we will have 3, just based on the needs of the district. We've also, again, expanded, and as Dr. Hackett said, that ERI class, it's at Hamilton. We are also building on our inclusion supports at VMS, so Ms. Ross will talk about that. And then also some of our upcoming initiatives across the district, which is really just improving our professional development options for our teachers, and then also looking at expanding our IA training. So as we look into this annual report, every year we receive an annual report from the state, and it is 2 school years behind. So some of this information that I'm presenting to you is a little bit old, but what we do is use that as a benchmark, and it does help to inform our next steps and additional supports and services, and really causes us to make sure that we are meeting the needs within that report. So our indicators to celebrate. So we have our 4th grade ELA proficiency, which we met the target. We have our 4th grade ELA proficiency gap, which is awesome that we, again, met that target. Our least restrictive environment, which shows that our students are in LRE more than 80% of the time. And then also making sure that we don't have students less than 40% of the time, according to this percentage. And then also our parental involvement. So this information does give us some things that we are happy about in terms of parental involvement. I know, just talking to my colleagues in other districts, they're really struggling with their parental involvement and parental satisfaction. So we are happy that we met the target and exceeded the state target. Again, our LRE, that really does show that we as a district are focused on inclusion and we are meeting those mandates. And then again, the proficiency gap that we have met and exceeded for 4th grade ELA. Our areas of growth would be 8th grade ELA proficiency, 8th grade ELA proficiency gap, our 4th grade math proficiency gap, and our 8th grade math proficiency gap. So these are the areas that we're working on. As we go through the presentation, you'll see some things that we're going to do as a department to really try to meet those needs, but we are continuing to focus on that. When we look at the percentages, they are the biggest one is the 8th grade ELA proficiency gap. So that is what we see, that we really have our work cut out for us. But as Ms. Ross will talk about, we are doing a lot more work around inclusive supports over at the middle school and really trying to support those teachers with some additional supports. So this is just general next steps. Again, we're expanding on our executive functioning class. We are expanding on looking at some additional math resources and supports for our students at the middle school, where we are seeing some needs. And we are looking at continuing to do a full implementation of our WIN, which is the What I Need within 2nd grade. Ms. Ross, again, is going to talk about that. I know I keep mentioning, but she will talk about that and the impact that that's had on district-wide. Looking at continuing to add our behavioral support for our adult supports, our instructional associates, professional development, and making sure that we are increasing our inclusive opportunities that we do have. While we are certainly excited about what we have going on, we want to make sure that we are continuing to look at that as next steps. So some of our additions, again, is that ERI class. Amazing Transformations provides our behavioral support, which is providing a registered behavior technician or behavioral technician support to support some of our students who really have more challenging behaviors and require more specialized services. As a district, we are getting more of our in-district IAs trained as RBT, so we're excited about that, but there was still a gap, and so Amazing Transformations is fulfilling that gap. We have some targeted instructional associate trainings that are going on throughout the year, and also quarterly meetings for our students who receive one-to-one level of support, so we can make sure we're staying on top of that data and making sure that our decisions are based on that, as well as some parent clinics for our autism program. So talking about the child study team, we know a lot of what the child study team does is collaboration, support, providing some direct services such as testing, therapy, counseling, speech language therapy, and then of course also their paperwork, which would be the assessment piece, their IEPs, and the compliance. Here are just the members of our child study team. We have one child study team member at least set in every single building. The middle school full team is over at the middle school, and then we have some of our members that float around. So looking at our programs that we have the full continuum of programs throughout the district. We have inclusion, we have resource room, and then this is just a breakdown of what is in each program. We also have an LLD, self-contained language learning disabilities, and we have an autism self-contained program as well. And now we're going to talk about WIN.
Sure. I know that we've had a lot of success with the emotional regulations that the ERI that you have. Have we thought about expanding that to the general student body? Because it's not just a problem that's focused on special needs children. It's a problem that all children are having right now. And we've seen like a large spike in that. Have we thought about taking those learnings and kind of broadening that program across our student population?
So specifically, the ERI is a special ed program, but what we are looking at, because we are seeing a need, is the expanding of that licensed clinician. So last year we had 2 days. This year we're expanding it to a third day, looking to see, do we need to have a fourth day? And so previously we did not have a licensed clinician at ET Hamilton, but we're seeing that there is a need based on the population and the students that we're seeing there who are having more needs to have access to mental health and behavioral support. So that's why now they will have the clinician. So we are trying to be as flexible as possible in terms of where we're seeing the needs and how to support best. But the licensed clinician that we've had in the past has been very helpful, and by helping families to navigate outside services and supports, which I think is definitely a key component for our students, is of course we want to make sure we're servicing them in school, but also that wraparound level of supports. So that is one way that we are trying to meet that need, that additional need that we're definitely seeing across the district.
Thanks.
Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Allegria. Dr. Hackett, Board President Watson, Vice President Kedover, and the entire Board of Education, thank you for your support in implementing the WIN and your time for allowing us to review this here tonight. Before I do begin reviewing it, I think I want to recognize not only the teachers, second grade teachers who have put so much work into this, the basic skills teachers, the reading specialists, our special education teachers, and our principals who have really worked around their schedule to kind of make this work. And that's where the real work is done. My work has been minimal compared to what they've done. So I don't want to in any way take away from the dedication that they've given us. So if you remember, we started out WIN the year before last, and it started with 3 cycles. So we kind of went through our cycles. At the end of the year, we took some feedback from the teachers, and they felt like the 3 cycles really didn't give us enough time with assemblies and days off. So we switched it to 2 cycles for WIN this year. Our first cycle ran from November 4th to February 19th. Before we begin a WIN cycle, we meet as a team. Every school we meet separately. We take in all of our iReady data. We take in classroom benchmarks. We kind of analyze that and we create groups. In some cases, we have more teachers in other schools. So some schools might have 9 groups. Other schools might have 6 groups, but we kind of see like where are our strengths, what areas need intervention, and we develop these groups teachers choose which group they want. So sometimes we'll have our intervention teacher take a higher group, and we might have one of the gen ed teachers take a phonics group. And then it might switch the next cycle depending on the needs. So once that's done, you can switch to the next slide. We have another data meeting. So this year, our second round of data meetings were held in February. We do the same thing. We take all of the progress monitoring that we take during WIN. Those students in more intense intervention groups, they take weekly data. And if we're noticing students are making progress, we bump them up during the cycle. If we notice that they're really struggling, we might bump them into a more intense group if needed. And then once we go through this, we analyze the groups again, we develop new groups, and we start our next cycle. This year, we ran our second cycle from March 3rd to June 4th. So, and then I did do a survey for the teachers at the end of the year. And just a few highlights. One question was, did WIN contribute positively to student academic progress? You can see there, for the most part, everyone agreed or strongly agreed that 7.4 was one response. So one person was neutral, but that's okay. We'll just continue to encourage really open dialogue. So if there is maybe even only one or two people who feel like they're not getting the results they're looking for, that they can feel like they can come to someone, talk about it, and we can kind of work through that. Our next slide. Same thing, students who are receiving targeted interventions demonstrated measurable growth. We had 88.9% either agree or strongly agree. And we had 2 people who were neutral, 1 person who disagreed. And I feel like that was important to note because, yeah, mostly everyone's agreeing, but for those who might not feel totally confident about it, I just want to continue for myself. It's a reminder to create that open dialogue so everyone is comfortable if they have needs. Who did we feel supported or benefited the most from WIN? For the most part, it was those students approaching the benchmark. So it's almost like those basic skills groups. But we had an enrichment group, we had students on benchmark and students who were more significantly below benchmark. Overall, we did see good growth in all of our second grade students, and we've had positive feedback from second and third grade teachers saying that they felt like their students are coming in more prepared. When I asked what are the greatest strengths of WINS, these were just some things that were highlighted, that it offered an opportunity for differentiated instruction that was more intense and more focused. It provided a nice opportunity for additional RTI and intervention blocks. It kept the students engaged because our groups were smaller and they were moving for like just a 20-30 minute block. So kind of like they were excited to kind of move and switch. And then the staff collaboration, which I was surprised by that one because people really enjoyed having that time to kind of come together for those data meetings, going over like, oh, this student's in my gen ed class, but they're during WIN, what are they working on? And then they kind of like even piggybacked on each other, like this is what we're doing in class, and they kind of collaborated to design lessons. And then the recommendations for next year was just some structural adjustments, sometimes, trying to adjust the group sizes. In some cases, our intervention groups were really small, but our on-level groups maybe were 19 students, compared to like an intervention group that would have had 5 students. So just being mindful of the group size, staying consistent and continuous. So there was a lot of feedback that once the NJSLA testing came around, it was very difficult to run the WIN groups. So I did take that into consideration, and we're looking to change that for next year. And then program expansion. So they are asking to expand this into first grade, which although we're not going to do it for this school year, for the following school year, we will. Okay, so for next year, the week of September 22nd, we're going to start our data meetings. We will start our first cycle October 6th and end it on January 7th. We will have our next group of data meetings on January 12th. And then our final WIN cycle will go from January 19th to March 18th, with the exception of anyone in an intervention group. So all those students receiving special education services or basic skills services from the reading specialist, they will continue as they would typically. But it's more those enrichment or the on-level groups, they might just have to be differentiated within their classroom during those NJSLA times. And that was it. So thank you for your time.
All right, so as we wrap up, just like Ms. Ross said, like in terms of WIN and expanding it to first grade and looking to really take into feedback, I hope that I leave this meeting with you guys understanding that we are always evolving and always looking to see what's working, see what our students need and make those adjustments. Those are our priorities as we look to this upcoming year, is continuing to strengthen WIN, continuing to strengthen our RTI, expanding our programs, and also looking to make sure our staff is as supported as possible and creating those opportunities for professional development. So like Ms. Ross had started in terms of her thank you for the second grade teachers and everyone who participated in the WIN process. I also want to just thank the Special Services Department. I tried to calculate how many meetings have happened of 460 students with an IEP. It's a lot of meetings. It's a lot of testing. It's a lot of paperwork. So everyone does their part in terms of our case managers, our therapists, our support staff who are working one-on-one sometimes with some of our challenging students. Everyone works together. Our teachers have been incredible with our children who are in inclusion settings. And of course, our principals, just everyone is working together. And so I am very thankful that we have the support of everyone. Really, that is what it's all about in terms of our goal for inclusion. And so we always do like to leave with like some pictures. So here's some pictures from Buddy Day of last year. Another great opportunity for our families and children to be together. We are proud of this opportunity that we put together every year. We always have a good showing. So these are just a couple pictures from Buddy Day. The staff members did come. Many volunteer their time to come on a Saturday and support. So we're very grateful and thankful for that. And here's some pictures from ESY, which was another wonderful experience for our students. We have a great time in ESY. There is social skills. We have music, we have adaptive PE, our teachers, there's always lots of hands-on activities. We have the water that comes in. So it's always a great time. You know, it's tough for students to be in school almost year round, but we try to make it as positive as we can. And they definitely do have a good time. So we like to show them off as much as we can. And that is the end of our presentation. Not as short as we hope, but it is the end. Are there any questions that we can answer? My final thoughts are just to thank you guys, the Board of Education, for your continued support of our students, because oftentimes we are bringing up a new contract, a new something, and you know, we do thank you for your support always. So,
I just want to say the WIN program is amazing, and thank you to everyone who coordinates and works so hard to make it happen. My oldest son was in it, and now my youngest son's going to be in it, and he's excited about it. So
excellent,
thanks.
wonderful. Thank you for that.
I also just want to say, I feel like as a society, we're on the cusp of understanding the breadth of neurodivergence. And I think about how one of the criticisms of the public school system writ large is that we don't always meet the needs of the students who are out of the box. And I think Voorhees is exceptional in that regard. And it's largely due to you and your staff. You're always innovative. You're always thinking ahead of the curve. And I think you're seeing the trends and you're meeting the need before we're drowning in it. So I really just want to express my appreciation. I think families with children who have learning differences and special needs get such robust care in this district, and it's largely due to you and your staff. So thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate that. The staff works extremely hard. It is a team effort. So I thank you. I appreciate that.
Good evening, President Watson, Dr. Hackett, Board of Education members, and community members. I am here to present the access and alternate access for ELS results for the 25-26 school year. Okay. So what is the access for ELS? So in New Jersey, we are a member of the World Class Instructional Design and Assessment Consortium, which uses the Access for ELS assessments. And this suite of assessments measures students' English language proficiency in the 4 domains of speaking, listening, reading, and writing. Within the suite, there are 3 different assessments. There's a kindergarten assessment, which is specifically tailored for our youngest learners. We have the standard assessment for grades 1 to 8, and then the alternate access which is a large print, paper-based, individually administered assessment for those students identified as MLs with the most significant cognitive disabilities. So this is just a little note about multilingual learners. In 2023, New Jersey shifted terminology to be more asset-based. So all students that were identified as English language learners are now identified as multilingual learners. So within the access and the alternate access, there are different proficiency levels that demonstrate the proficiency of students using the English language standards or the WIDA standards. So level 1 is the entering level, and this is where our students are just starting their journey with English, and they rely on a significant amount of support to communicate. Level 2 is that emerging level. They're comfortable using simple phrases in familiar situations, but complex tasks can be a little bit of a challenge for them. Level 3 is that developing stage where they're getting better at communicating in English effectively. They still might make some errors and need guidance tackling more complex language. Level 4 is the expanding level. This is where our students are really gaining confidence in English. They can manage most classwork with less support and join in discussions with their peers, and may only require some assistance with more challenging content. Our level 5 is the bridging level, and this is where our students are approaching full proficiency. They can handle academic tasks and use English in a variety of settings. And the bridging level, level 5, is the highest level a student on the alternate access can receive. Level 6 is the reaching level, and this is where our students have reached a high level of English proficiency. They're independent, they're accurate in most all situations, and they're well prepared for academic success. And the level 6 is the highest level within the standard access test. And what these levels really do for us is they allow us to identify those specific needs of our ML learners and really differentiate that instruction to support their English proficiency growth. So here's just some proficiency level considerations. So the proficiency level score on the access or the alternate access uses a whole number for the proficiency level and a decimal for progress. So in this example, you'll see a 3.7. That means that the student's overall proficiency is a level 3, but they have significant progress towards a level 4 with that 0.7. In addition, we just want to point out the grade level differences. With the access and the alternate access scores, they'll still receive a proficiency level, but the students in grade 2 versus the students in grade 8 are exposed to different grade level content. So just because they both are receiving a level 4, that doesn't mean that they're at the same level in proficiency. And this is an example of a student score report, which is great. Each student receives an individual score report that provides families with the individual domain scores, which you'll see on the left, and then the overall proficiency score as well. Then at the bottom, it provides you with the gains in the areas of listening, speaking, reading, and writing. And it also provides families with can-do descriptors, which allows families to understand the current ability levels of their child and how to support them at home. When these individual score reports go out, each family receives a cover letter that's in their home language and in English as well. So here's just a timeline of the New Jersey access dates. You can see that it starts in November with the test material ordering and isn't concluded until July. The testing window for 25-26 occurred or opened on February 2nd of 2026 and ended on March 27th of 2026. And all ESL teachers and myself, we complete annual access test administration training, and that was conducted in December of 2025. So here is a chart showing the 4-year summary of the number of MLs by proficiency level. So you can see in 2025, 2026, we had 20 students at the entering level, 15 at emerging, 38 at developing, which was our highest concentration of students. 31 at expanding, 5 at bridging, and 1 at reaching, with 110 students tested. Level 3 consistently contains the largest number of ML learners each year. And level 4, which is the expanding level, remains relatively stable, averaging around 30 students annually. Now, here is a chart showing the data for proficiency levels by subgroups with students with more than 10 students. So you can see here that our level 3 again has the highest counts across all major subgroups, and our low income group shows the highest concentration of students at level 3. Now, in regards to alternate access, which I shared with you in February, because we have under 10 students that are tested in the alternate access, we're unable to share the results with you due to confidentiality and protecting our students' privacies. But I can tell you that the test was administered, and those students that did take the test received an individual score report. So here is some tracking progress data. So the first table you'll see identifies the number of ML students and the years in our ML program. So based upon their length of enrollment, the 40 students in their first year, there are 40 students in the first year and then decrease as the length of time in the program. With the years of exit, this tracks the number of students who have exited the program annually, showing a rise in the most recent year with 39 students. And I did want to provide you with some exit information. So in order to exit the ML program, you have to have an overall composite score of 4.5 on the access or the WIDA model, which is used for a mid-year exit, or an overall composite score of a 3 for the alternate access. You also have to have an English language observation form completed, which indicates that the students are ready to exit based on multiple measures that include classroom performance, teacher recommendation, and benchmarks as well. And those students that are exited are monitored for 4 years to guarantee continued success. So here's just some summary of the results. So we saw a 4-year trend with 29% of students scoring at a level 4, and that's held steady across those 4 years. What I just spoke about with the exit indicators, we had 31 students score at a level 4 this year. 19 of those students scored in between a 4 and a 4.0, so they're just at the cusp of exiting. And then we had 11 students that scored between a 4.5 and a 4.9, so they're eligible to exit with that English language observation form completed. And then subgroup data, which we showed some gains here. For our chronically absent and our low income students, last year's data indicated that the majority of our students were scoring in a level 1 and 2. For 25-26, those 2 subgroups have increased, and the majority of their students are now scoring in a level 3 and 4, with chronically absent students increasing from 41% to 72%, and then our low-income students increasing 48% to 69%. So here are some intervention strategies that we continue to use for our identified multilingual learners. There's that continuous ongoing data analysis with our ESL team, continued collaboration between departments and with our building principals to focus on those language needs as well as the chronic absenteeism of MLs, and then providing teachers with the annual professional development on the access and how to better support our multilingual learners in the classroom. This training was conducted in January of 2025, January of 2026 at the building faculty meetings. And again, one of our highlights of our intervention strategies is that sheltered English instruction. We have 30 elementary staff that are fully trained in sheltered English instruction, and we are currently in the process of having all remaining staff trained. Training has commenced, and will conclude in August of 2027. And we will have all staff trained in sheltered English instruction, which will really help support our MLs and really all students in the classroom, because it's really just good instructional practices. And then we will also continue to utilize those district programs to meet student needs. The WIN period that Ms. Ross just spoke about, RTI, our basic skills services, the morning program, that differentiated instruction within the classroom, and then our daily ESL services with our ESL teachers. And then I did want to share with some pictures, just like Dr. Allegri. I did not know she was doing that, so we were on the same wavelength with that. But we did have our inaugural Title III multilingual family night this year, which really celebrated our multilingual learners and their success within the program. We recognized all of the students that exited within the 24-25 school year. We also had activities that were facilitated by our ESL teachers. They were make and take resources for families, and they were focused on those 4 domains of listening, speaking, reading, and writing. And then we also had community resources available for our families, such as the Voorhees Township Library, the Mathnasium, and J4S, the Turkish Cultural Center for South Jersey, and more. So that concludes my presentation for today. If you have any questions? No? Okay, thank you for your time.
Moving to audience participation. Anyone wishing to address the board, please approach the side table on the right and write your name and address on the login sheet. While the board is limited in its ability to respond to the public on matters involving personnel, litigation, negotiations, and attorney-client privilege, the board will now hear comments from the public relating to the items on the agenda for this board meeting. Comments are limited to 3 minutes. The board will not take action this evening. You will be notified at some later time by letter, electronic mail, telephone, or in the context of a later board meeting of any action the board does take. Moving on to the business meeting statement. As we move into the business portion of our meeting, we want to recognize that it may appear as if the board does take action with very little comment and in many cases a unanimous vote. Before an item is placed on the board agenda, it is thoroughly reviewed by the superintendent and administration. The superintendent then presents the recommended action to the appropriate board committee and works with the committee to ensure the members fully understand the recommendation. Once the committee is satisfied, the item is placed on the board agenda for discussion and action in a public meeting. Board agendas are made available to board members several days in advance of the meeting, giving us ample time to review the agenda and have all of our questions answered. Further, we are kept up to date between meetings on the ongoing work of the administration and important issues in the district. All of these efforts ensure that we are well informed and prepared to take action at our meetings. Moving into the reports, Mrs. Branch Stewart, can I get a policy committee report, please?
Sure. The policy committee met on August 18th for about an hour. Dr. Hackett, Mr. Moskowitz, and Board President Monica Watson and myself were present. The committee discussed and recommends full board approval for all policy items on tonight's agenda, which includes several policies and regulations for both first and second read and a policy to be abolished. I'll note that most of our discussion in the meeting was focused on revisions to policy 5516, student use of internet-enabled devices, and the continuation of our policy vendor Strauss Esme's policy audit results action plan. We also reviewed the district goals for the 26-27 school year. Our next policy meeting is currently scheduled for September 15th. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Can I get a motion to approve all items under policy?
So moved, Stewart.
Second, Rudder.
Online voting is open. Right?
Aye.
Thank you. The motion unanimously passes.
Mrs. Rutter, can I get an academic excellence committee report, please?
The Academic Excellence Committee met on Monday, August 17th for approximately 1 hour. It was myself, Ms. Kedover, Ms. Smythe, Ms. Grant Stewart, Dr. Hackett, and Mr. Moskowitz. We do not have any items that require action for the board. We did have a discussion about 5 different topics. The first one was VMS digital pass system. We talked about the promotion and retention policy, and we are not recommending creating one at this time. We had a discussion about the WIN program. We got to see all of that data in advance and talk about what a great program it is. We obviously would love to see it go into first grade, maybe in a WIN light type of scenario, all good stuff. We also reviewed the district goals and we talked about our CUSAC appeal, which the state has not responded to. Our next meeting is Wednesday, September 20. Nope, that's our next board meeting. Our next committee meeting is Monday, September 14th. That's all.
All right, thank you very much. Can I get a motion to approve all of the items under curriculum?
So moved, Rosner.
Second, Stewart.
Online voting is open. Motion unanimously passes.
Mr. Rosner, can I have a personnel committee report, please?
Yes, the Personnel Committee met on Thursday, August 20th. In attendance, myself, Ms. Watson, Ms. Rutter, and Dr. Hackett. We discussed the new CER director, who will officially begin on September 28th. We are recommending the approval of the resolution. We already approved the promise of employment in advance. We talked about the district goals, and we'd like to approve those tonight. Several confidential employee matters, which we can't speak about here, and the HYA stipend for a superintendent search. So we're doing our superintendent search, and we have some administrative needs on our end, which require additional work. So we are recommending the approval of a stipend for Ms. Malady and Ms. Santor to manage that. We updated the description for the early childhood department social worker role to align more closely with the responsibilities. We discussed transfer of positions based off of need and population from certain elementary schools to others. And that is it. And our next meeting is the Thursday before the next board meeting. Thanks.
Thank you. Can I get a motion to approve all of the items under personnel as recommended by the superintendent?
So moved, Rutter.
Second, Rosner.
Online voting is open. The motion unanimously passes.
Mrs. Munyon, can I get a finance committee report, please?
Yes. The Finance Committee met on Wednesday, August 19th. In attendance was myself, Julie Kedover, Helen Haley, Danielle Curie, and Dr. Hackett. We discussed all items on the August 24th agenda under the Finance, Transportation, and Building and Grounds and voted and recommend approval for the board. We discussed the rising healthcare costs and our participation in the school funding initiatives, including the New Jersey Fair Funding Collective, the New Jersey School Funding Outreach Effort, and the New Jersey Joint Committee on Transportation. We discussed the joint Camden and Gloucester Pre-K fiscal roundtable meeting with the NJDOE representatives, and our next committee meeting will be on September 16th.
Thank you. Can I get a motion to approve all of the items under finance?
So moved, Rosner.
Second, Kedover.
Online voting is open. Motion unanimously passes.
Get a motion to approve all of the items under transportation.
So moved, Munyon.
Second, Kedover.
Online voting is open. Motion unanimously passes.
Can you get a motion to approve all of the items under buildings and grounds?
So moved, Munyon.
Second, Stewart.
Online voting is open. Motion unanimously passes.
Moving to our second public comment, anyone wishing to address the board, please approach the side table on the right and write your name and address on the login sheet. While the board has limited its ability to respond to the public on matters involving personnel, litigation, negotiations, and attorney-client privilege, the board will now hear comments from the public. Comments are limited to 3 minutes. The board will not take action this evening. You will be notified at some later time by letter, electronic mail, telephone, or in the context of a later board meeting of any action the board does take. Board comments? I'm not gonna go down the dais. Anybody holler if they want to say something. Okay. Moving to executive session, whereas the Open Publics Meeting Act authorizes Board of Education to meet in executive session under certain circumstances, whereas the Open Publics Meeting Act requires the board to adopt a resolution at a public meeting to go into private session. Now it therefore be resolved, the Voorhees Township Board of Education, that it is necessary to meet an executive session to discuss certain items involving matters concerning negotiations, matters involving anticipated pending litigation, and matters of attorney-client privilege, and matters involving personnel. Be it further resolved that any discussion held by the board which need not remain confidential will be made public as soon as feasible. The minutes of the executive session will not be disclosed until the need for confidentiality no longer exists. Further resolved that the board will return to open session, and no business, right? We will not have any additional business to conduct except closing out the meeting. I'm gonna go with, don't do it. I'm gonna give us 28 minutes.
Oh, gosh. Very specific.
Can I get a motion to adjourn to executive session?
So moved, Roser.
All in favor?
Been running? Okay. Okay. Can I get a motion to return from executive session? Second, Watson, Munyon Watson. All those in favor?
Aye.
Sorry, I'm gonna move us along. Next meeting is September 23rd, 2026. Motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Who's my second? Bryce?
Bryce.
Yep.
There we go. Sorry.
Thank you. Mine was frozen. Great meeting.